it's even colder today than it was yesterday, so I'm gonna be in a rush. It'll be the last time I'll probably be wearing this cap and maybe this coat, but I've got the holes finished off, and I've got I found some scraps of 6 ounce I'm going to put in. Now I was debating how I was going to do this, and I was going to use some more cloth, but I don't really need to. I want to get this sanded down because I'm going to put one of my little blocks in here and then cover it up. But the only thing I really need to do is cover this edge that we cut over, because remember we put fiberglass and 2 layers of epoxy on the inside of the box, and then the bottom's got a layer of glass, and back here you've got the layer of glass over the top of the tape that goes over the seam, because you can see a little bit of the yellow of the fairing compound that's underneath this glass. So all I've got to do is I'm going to wet this down and then come back and then take a sharp knife and cut it down the middle and fold it over. And then in the corners, when I'm doing fairing for this, I'll take a little bit of fairing on my fingered glove and then smooth in the corner. Because basically what we're trying to do is seal this wood right here away from the elements so that the water cannot get in. And it needs to be a little bit thicker. It's something you may have to look at as time goes on, as wear back in here, but I don't think it's going to wear as much. You'll see that the paint is wearing down, and give it another coat of paint. So let me go ahead and mix up some epoxy and we'll come back. Well, I got my silver tip here mixed up well. And where'd my brush go? We're going to brush down inside here. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. I want to brush down in here and get it wet, because then when I attach the glass, then it'll have something good to stick to. And try not to get any like I just did on the top. Okay. Now center our glass. This is some more of that scrap I keep telling you to say. And I've got the tape outline to give me a clean edge. Get back here. You could probably hear the wind outside. It's really blowing like stink out there today. So tomorrow I'll be picking up limbs. As you've seen from my other videos, I've got quite a forest, and I'm getting tired of picking up limbs, so I want to move. I had to go get my really sharp scissors. My little X-Acto knives and stuff weren't cutting it, so let's roll these guys in now. That should cover it. I'm going to do the other one now. By the time I get the fairing compound into the corners, it'll pretty much waterproof the wood. I didn't like the way the corners were taking, so I added a little bit of, cut a piece of cloth about 1 inch wide, and then set it inside and overlapped it on the front edge here. So now I know I've got complete coverage in the corners. So we'll come back later after it's green, and I'll use a knife to cut off along the line and pull everything off and clean it up. And then I'll probably put another layer of, well, I know I'll put another layer of epoxy on this glass to fill the weave. Well, it's what I always say, it's the next day again. And normally I do this green, but it works when it's cured too. It just comes off easier when it's hardening up, but it hasn't fully cured. And it just comes right up. Remember we had this glass, and I don't remember if if I took the video, I put a layer of glass around the inside and I've already cut that off. And so I've got to sand it down now. So smooth that out. Let me do that, and I got some measurements as to where to put these little guys. And I think I will get some epoxy out tonight. As you can see, it's cold. It was frozen this morning. A big windstorm yesterday. Of course, back in the Midwest, you guys were freezing in snow up to your eyeballs. Well, I got everything smoothed down, and I put another layer of epoxy everywhere around. And there was a couple spots I had to grind out that didn't stick, and so those little cavities have been, the epoxy flowed into the low spot, so it's flat again. And I've got my little braces done on the middle, and then up on the center section too. So I'll come out tomorrow, and this will have cured. The System 3 Easy or Silvertip dries pretty good in the colder temperatures, but the fairing compound, I'll probably wait. I'll put it on tomorrow, but I'll wait a couple days before I do any sanding. If it's cured, I'll test it, and then put the other glass on top of it, and I'll probably come over the top and roll it down into the edge. Maybe not, who knows. See when we get there. Well, the wheels from Amazon came in, and they came in by the post office as opposed to UPS or FedEx, and so I got the little thing in my mailbox because my mail lady is too obese to get out of her van, so I had to go down and get these things. But I was able to get an 11-inch bolt from the size of this, and then I had to go down and get the narrow version of one of these nylock nuts, and which is just perfect. So we got that in there. So now I got my wheels, and they'll fit in the middle part too here. And you can see I've got my little switch around here. So I've got them in the middle spot now, which I'll have to have my my pipe, which hopefully won't be banging on the transom, because this was on the back of the seat. It is a slight angle, and so if I reversed it, I can use it this way, and I got a little more clearance. It'll clear about up into here, going in the other direction. So, on your boat, if you're building a new nymph, all of this stuff would go in. Well, the transom is always going to have an angle to it, unless you make it vertical when you put in the box and have a bigger gap at the top. It's doable. The things on the side could be redone, or you could build a U-shape as opposed to a full rectangle, and just put the U-shape into the transom panel and glass it and fill it in place there. And then on the seat, I would probably, if I was to rebuild this boat, I'd put the hatch on the aft side of the seat, and the vertical seat panel on the front the front panel would be more vertical, and then I would put the box built into it, or like I said again, a U, which might be easier if you're doing a new construction. And then you got the wheels in there. So I'm going to go ahead and sand down on the little humps. Let me go in close. I put on some easy fare yesterday, and so I'll get that sanded down now, and then I'll put a layer of glass on it. And I'll put a, like we did down here, I'll put a tape parameter around it and then glass that in. And then I'll probably have the outside demo. I'll probably go ahead and paint or prime it, but it's so damn cold out now, as you can tell, that I may set it outside and bring it in come springtime to put the finished coat of paint on, or if it warms up, I've got to work on my T-Max. I got to completely pull the panels apart and change the fuel pump. And I have a big wheels turning site, big wheels turning, all one word, on YouTube, and you could watch me put a new fuel pump in the tank, and I got to pull all the plastic off, or else cut a hole and glass it back in. I haven't decided yet, so let me get all this stuff done. As you can see, I've got my tape perimeter out, and I've got my glass on, and I've been shaping it. And this is some 6-ounce that I had left over, just some edge of scrap, and it was just, you know, not very wide, so it must have been one of the sides. Usually I try to pull the glass over to one side so the overlap in any one spot. Where's a good spot? Right here. It'll be on one, the narrow spot will be on one side and the excess will be over on the other side. So this must have been an excess piece. So yeah, I may as well have you watch me. Start in the center and get the shape like we did on the oars. And I also had to, since it's so cold in the shop, I had to move all my epoxy inside and set it next to the space heater in the office. It just gets too cold out, it's just too hard to work. Need to find a better quality acid brush. Just gently go around the sides. Once this cures and I knife it around the inside of the green tape, I'll go ahead and put another layer of epoxy on top to wet it out. And keep an eye on it when you're doing this stuff down in here that it doesn't pull away. Finish up with pushes. And coming up in the future, probably won't be building a boat, but I've got a couple little tests I want to do on scarves, different kinds of scarves, and talking to Chuck down at Duckworks, and he doesn't really scarf. He's been using Peyton joints, which is basically a butt splice with glass on either side, which I've been doing ever since I saw that my first traditional bevel scarf was not going to work because of the thickness of the plywood. There's no way you can join the tension and the compression outside laminations together to pass the stresses along. Just no way. That's why I came up with my, which I still like. It's real quick and easy to do with my, there we go, finger joint. I'll do the other ones off camera.